Welcome to Shift, an exclusive podcast by DSN. I'm your host, Blake Mallon, and this is where high-performing entrepreneurs and experts share their most powerful shifts in mindset, skill set, and strategy to help you accelerate your business and amplify your impact. I challenge you to be present, open your mind, and let the shift begin. Welcome back to Shift. I'm your host, Blake Mallon. So last week, we had a chance to sit down with one of my all-time favorite human beings. And I can say that because I have had a chance to get to know Nick Martinez very closely over the last 5 years. And it was an honor to have him here as a guest with you, our growing Shift community, really sharing his journey, how he went from a former pilot that transformed his life from really struggling financially, a great job, a career path, but not feeling the fulfillment that he was really looking for when it came to his life and his purpose, and how he found direct selling and was not the fastest out of the gates. Matter of fact, the contrary, it was a slower path for him, but how through really relentless personal development, increased self-awareness, some things that he shared with us in that conversation, he really developed a new confidence, an entire new persona, really found himself through this channel and was able to apply new strategies. He shared how he started on Facebook, his first social media platform, really for his family to share photos, and how through specific systems, he has now become a massive online brand with a huge, thriving community by all definitions all across the world through really simple systems that everybody can do. You know, Nick really gave us so much value, not only in sharing his personal journey and really going into those defining moments, those moments that could have gone one way or the other, and the doubt that he had, and really ultimately what led to certain decisions that changed everything. What it was like to kind of challenge traditional career paths and balance a full-time career profession with this thing that he was starting on the side that really was pulling at his passion and his purpose, and how he became a student for goal setting and vision. And really, social media, he gave us an absolute masterclass in simple systems we can apply to start generating more conversations and building our community so much and more in our full conversation last week with Nick Martinez. So if you didn't get a chance to hear the full dialogue, definitely go back and listen. It was an absolute must. Now, for our time today, it's our time together where we get a chance to pause a little bit and really reflect on some of the things that Nick gave us in that dialogue, so we can make sure we don't just hear it, we don't just learn it, but it's something we can apply to achieve greater impact and greater income on your journey in your business to your goals today. So I want to talk about 3 significant shifts that I got from our conversation with Nick last week, starting with shift number 1. And this has to do with really learning how to rewire or reprogram yourself through the power of visualization. And more specifically, Nick gave us an ultimate exercise. He called it the I am statement that he used personally. And I know this to be absolute fact because I watched him over the last 5 years transform himself through this amazing tool. Now, he gave us a couple tips when it comes to this power of visualization, this magic of affirmation. And it really starts right when we get up in the morning. Matter of fact, Nick said how you start your day is everything. So we got to learn to start strong at the beginning of each day. And he recommended this I am statement, crafting a statement of really your future self. How do you see your ultimate persona? Who do you want to become? And getting crystal clear on that in a statement to yourself that you read every single morning right when you get up. Now, he also talked about really the power of visualizing your future, closing your eyes, immersing yourself in the vision of those achievements. So it's about, yes, becoming the person you see yourself to be and visualizing what that life looks like in the future and how this clear vision of what success looks like for you, not anybody else, what success looks like for you is a huge step in starting to make this a reality. And the underlying tone of our conversation from Nick is that mindset matters. Your thoughts determine your feelings, and your feelings determine your actions. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions, all of ours, are interconnected. So we got to focus on that first step, what we're thinking, what is the mindset that we're in order to really elicit the correct feelings that we want to feel, that inner world to create our outer world. And it starts with that alignment of our thoughts and our feelings in order to really create long-term sustainable actions or activities. Mindset matters. So when it comes to these tools and these tips that Nick gave us in his story, and he's breaking it down of exactly what he did in order to become who he is and get to where he's at. Let's talk about this, okay? Simple things that we can do. How about number one, really committing to declaring, writing, clarifying your own I am statement. And this can be a statement. It can be a few lines. It can be a page. But you need to take some time where you clear some space. You turn off the distractions. You really get in touch with yourself. And you ask yourself, who is the you of tomorrow? If you were to fast forward when you're living the life that you want, when you were to look back when it's all said and done and describe your ultimate self, who is that person? And write that in the present tense as if that is you today. I am. Use words that create energy for you. We all have different language and words that mean different things for us. You want to use language that elicits an emotion inside you, meaning inside you. This is for nobody else. You don't have to share it. You're not going to post it. This is for you to create the ultimate statement of who you can and will become. So it starts with just writing it, getting clear on it, and then committing to reading that affirmation every single day. And you guys, I asked Nick, I'm like, Nick, do you really do this every single day? Every single day. And I know that's true because I can still stop him at any point and ask him, hey, what's your I am statement? And he has that absolutely memorized. It's something, guys, that is a habit, but it starts with clearing out our calendar and writing it, and then setting that in our calendar every single day, the time to read our I am statement. Such a simple exercise. You do it once, it takes you a couple minutes to read it every morning, but can change everything. And then there's that visualization thing. Nick talked about, okay, visualizing what that means. So dedicating time daily to visualize the future goals you're creating. Create that mental image of your success. Allow yourself to really feel the emotions associated with achieving those goals. See them, feel them, meditate on it, think about it. That's what visualization is. And I promise you, the more you do this exercise, the easier it gets. The more focus you're able to give it, the more clarity you're able to have. This stuff works. And the last really simple exercise, do a little bit of journaling. And if you're looking for a place to start with gratitude. You can spend just a couple minutes in the morning or in the evening writing 3 things you're grateful for that day. It's such a simple exercise. But this really taps into the power that Nick is giving to us, the power of really controlling our thoughts, our focus, eliciting our feelings. Gratitude, and I promise you do that consistently over time, it can shift your behaviors or your actions. We have to program ourselves for the person we can become. We got to rewire ourselves to attract that successful life that we deserve and we desire, and these little things can move you in that direction. So let's make the shift. Now, the second shift really is one that's more tactical in nature, and it's the shift in social media of putting the focus on value over the algorithms. You could see there was a point in our conversation where Nick almost cringed at the word algorithms because he has a core philosophy that it's about the value first. Now, don't misunderstand me. We all know that platforms have algorithms, and they can be very frustrating because they're changing all the time, which is why it's important to put our focus on what we can control. The key, according to Nick, to thriving on social media today lies in creating more value than you ask for in return. It's a mind shift to focus on the value or how we're serving, not about the platform itself. And I love that he gave us a very simple 3-step framework that everybody can work on every single day. Post, grow, engage. Post, grow, engage. Nick's directive was real simple. In a world where you can get lost down the rabbit hole of social media tactics, at the highest level, just make sure every day you're doing 3 things. Every day you're posting, every day you're growing, and every day you are engaging. Every day we're doing those 3 things, you're going to be taking steps forward. So let's make this practical. What are some steps we can take to implement this shift? Well, number 1, create a content calendar where you can commit to posting something every day. Every day, every day, every day. Consistency is king on social media and in business and in life. You can focus on mixing up your content types. You can decide what platform is one you're passionate about, but consistency is king. So create a calendar where you can show up consistently every single day. Now, dedicate time to that second word. Number 1 is post. Number 2 is grow. So allocate time daily to growing your audience online. That means actively reaching out and creating new connections on the platforms. So whether that is Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or X or Threads or all the places, all the things, decide where you plan on growing. And every day we need to be doing things to grow your audience. And number 3, engage. There needs to be time prioritized for authentic interactions, taking the minute to respond to the comments, taking some time to go reach out and engage on other people's content, and ultimately begin and engage in meaningful conversations inside the DMs. So focus on those 3 things: post, grow, and engage. Focus on little movements every single day in all 3 of those areas, and you're going to find your way amplifying your results online. Let's make the shift. And the last shift I want to talk about really has to do with following your calling, not this supposed to. Now, for those of you that have followed my content for a while, you know I look at this supposed to as like the ultimate enemy. There is just so much traditional societal expectation, the prescription or the script of who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to live. And it's one of the hardest things in becoming an entrepreneur and staying the course long term is fighting this expectation of others or this expectation of that quote unquote traditional path. And that's why I love Nick sharing so openly and vulnerably his personal journey, because he had a great career, a pilot, a great airline, on the ladder to move up and become a captain, having to make the decision where he chose to say no to corporate promotions in order to pursue his passion of entrepreneurship at a time it wasn't working the way that he hoped it would. Talk about a huge lesson and a checkup for all of us. Are you right now as passionate about what you're doing, your business? That might be the product or service you're representing, the opportunity you're sharing, the community or mission you're a part of. But you got to ask yourself the question, if you were in that situation like Nick, where you had to make a choice between upward mobility of a traditional career and going deeper, doubling down on your entrepreneurial endeavor, would you make the same choice he made? Because ultimately it was that decision that allowed him to get to where he's at. It's becoming committed to the journey, regardless of the milestones that are working today or the results that are happening today. Committed to the journey because of the fulfillment you know it's creating for you in the here and the now. We have to go beyond the expectations of others. We have to get in touch with really what we want for ourselves. And we got to be committed to the journey that we're in, however long it takes. So how do we apply this inspiring story that Nick shared and his journey with our own journey right now? Well, a couple things I would recommend. Start by reflecting on your true passions. And again, this is not about working outward. This is about inward. This isn't about external. This is about internal. You got to take the time to identify what are your authentic passions and purpose. What excites you? What are you drawn to? What fires you up? What do you love to share? What do you love? This time and self-awareness is going to pay multiples. But you got to set aside the time and get clear and clarify, what is your calling? What is it about this entrepreneurial journey you're on that really ignites and excites you? And get clear on that. And then you got to set goals that emphasize the journey. It's so easy to set goals that are results or outcome oriented. It might be the rank or the volume or the money, and all that stuff is good. It's a North Star, it's directional. But what are the goals that emphasize the journey, who you are becoming in the process, what you are learning in the process, who you are impacting in the process, the relationships you're building in the process? Try setting goals that are not just oriented to an actual result or outcome, but things that are based on the behavior or the activity along the way. And lastly, don't forget to celebrate the wins. Especially all of the achievers out there. You know who you are. The ones that the minute you win or accomplish something, you're on to the next. Create a list of all of the small victories, the steps that you're taking, the milestones you're crossing, the small wins along the way. Create a list, like literally create a list. Have it be on the notes in your phone. So whenever you get in those situations where doubt is creeping in, or someone outside is asking you a question, or maybe you reach that point in that corporate ladder where you have an ultimate decision you got to make, you can go back and say, you know what? These are the victories. These are the steps I'm taking. Give yourself some grace. It's okay to be proud. It's okay to celebrate. And these will help you make the shift. So there you have it, 3 shifts to focus on from our conversation with Nick Martinez last week. Let's rewire and reprogram yourself using those I am statements. Let's shift our focus online, away from the algorithms and over to value and follow the 3-step framework. And let's make sure we're tapped in, we're aligned with your calling. Don't worry about the supposed to. Showing up and becoming who you're meant to be, doing what you're meant to do, on the way to make the impact you're meant to make. You can't go wrong. And you guys, be patient with yourself. It's okay. It's going to take time. It always does. And you have a community here with Shift to plug in, to give you the support, to give you the energy, to give you the environment, to make sure you have that constant reminder that you can. It is possible, and you are. That's why you're here, and that's what you're doing. So let's make the shift. So there you have it, a couple reflections, insights, and actions that we can take, inspired from our conversation with Nick Martinez, that we can apply to our business today. And I know this can impact you on your journey, and I know it can make an impact to all the individuals you have alongside you on this direct selling adventure. So take the time to share this episode. Sharing a shift really is a gift. You know where we are, all the places. You can find us at shiftpodcast.com. The website has all of the episodes and all of the platforms, or feel free to share on whatever platform is your favorite, whether that be Apple or Spotify or Audible for those of you that love to listen, or on YouTube for those of you that love to watch and engage. Make sure you're following the show on your favorite platform and leaving ratings and reviews, because that's how we know the impact we are making. I appreciate you for being here, for showing up. And don't forget, brand new episodes drop every single Monday. Speaking of that, this coming Monday, gonna be absolutely fire. We have another industry icon with us on the show, gonna bring an entirely different perspective and amazing energy and continue to add fuel to your fire. So add it to your calendar, turn on your notifications. We'll be back together on Monday. Until then, let's make the shift.